is in the books. The report card, both good and bad for the Dallas Cowboys. It's week 7. It's the start of the second part of the semester for the Cowboys as they return home to AT&T Stadium to take on a division rival in the Washington Commanders. The Commanders coming to town, but it's back home for Dak Prescott and company, leading one of the NFL's most electrifying offenses with one of the most electrifying tight ends in the NFL, sporting the high school jersey of his quarterback, the Houghton, Louisiana high school rep by Jake Ferguson. He's got Dak's high school jersey. He's got that connection, and we've got you covered here on Cowboys Pregame Live, presented by WinStar World Casino and Resort, live from the field in Week 7 for the Commanders and the Cowboys. Alongside Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, and Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeoman. So glad you're with us. And, gentlemen, it's a interesting field today, and as you can see, Barry Church and Nate Newton are sporting their own jerseys because it's Cowboys homecoming. They've got 30 or 40 former Cowboys in the building. Barry and Nate are a part of it as well, and we've got a special presentation toward the end of Cowboys Pregame Live as well. This is a fun day. I know, Isaiah, we don't have your jersey. We got to go to
I didn't have the names they had.
we got to go get the 1-6 out. Make it happen.
Schoolmakers represent for me today.
But
I love it.
Barry, you guys just got back from the event. What's this atmosphere? What's the feel been like on the field?
Oh, it's like being back in the locker room. I mean, we were just up there. I seen a lot of my old teammates. Jason Hatcher, Dan Bailey was up there, Doug Free. I mean, it just brought back a lot of memories of what we used to go out here and do on the battlefield. But it was great seeing those guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing those guys before the game kicks off.
Man, for me, it was like Bob Brunick was up there, man. And, you know, Tony Dorsett, guys like that, man, and Doug Crosby, old tight end. I mean, these guys before your time, Kyle, but they rocking and rolling, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a little bit before. Hey, I grew up a Cowboys fan.
Right.
I know a lot of those. Barry's era and Isaiah's era was more of my speed. But certainly great to see all these guys back. I know there's some legends in the building as well, Hall of Fame type of legends. We're going to talk about them as we go along. Hopefully get some interviews throughout the show as well. But we got to talk about the Cowboys and Commanders. Both teams trying to find their rhythm coming off of a loss last week. The Cowboys offensively have been rolling in the right direction, not so much on the defensive side. Let's hear from Coach Schottenheimer and Coach Eberflus on their overall opportunity to try and right the ship here at AT&T Stadium.
What we have to do, especially on the defensive side of the ball, is adjust and tighten up 10 or 15%. You can't change 100%. We don't need to change 100%. We do good things, but we have to tighten up 10 or 15%, and that's what we're going to do. And it's going to be the 10 or 15% that we think gives us the best chance to win.
Last week, obviously, disappointed in that performance, and we were finding answers and looking for solutions. And it's really about the solutions. Is a we solution. Us doing it together. I understand the frustration from last week. The week before we took a step, but I do think that, we have to consistently take steps, and I understand the frustration from those guys, and I'm frustrated too, so it's important that we move that aside, right, and then focus on the solutions, at hand. So it's important that we do that, and those guys are all in on that.
The defensive struggles have certainly been there for Matt Eberflus and company, but as the defensive coordinator, it's his job to make the adjustment. So, Barry, I'll start with you as our resident defender on set. What would be the first thing you change?
Well, look, I know Eberflus is a zone guy. That's what he believes in. He believes in all eyes on the quarterback will create more turnovers. But we've seen through this 6-week sample size that the zone coverage has not really been beneficial for the Dallas Cowboys defense. So, for me, I'm putting a little bit more man-to-man coverage in there with the Dallas Cowboys. Make things a lot more simpler out there. Look up, you line up, that's who I got. Let me go ahead and shut this guy down. Other than that, the zone coverage, it just hasn't worked out for the Dallas Cowboys. So for me, I'm putting a little bit more man in there.
You can say whatever you need to until we fix our defensive line and get this thing going in the right direction. Last week, a guy threatened us, to tell us to buckle up, and this dude came in and got 180-plus yards, 200 total. You have to stop the running game first, and that starts first and foremost on your defensive line.
I don't disagree with either one of these cats. I'm going to go along with my guy BC, though, because I believe that they need to play more man-to-man. It's unique that we're playing against Dan Quinn and the Washington Commanders, because majority of the guys that are contributors in the secondary for the Dallas Cowboys are Dan Quinn guys. So what style of defense do they like? They like to play man-to-man. Go up there, disrupt things at the line of scrimmage, make it hard for these guys to get off the ball, and then bring some additional pressure. You can have an 8-man box to take care of the run that Nate's talking about while going up there and get some hands on these guys and not allow free releases.
And, of course, with the struggles that Dallas has had on the defensive side of the ball, they've had a field day on social media having to maneuver through some of the eyewash, the smoke from some of the Cowboys fans out there that aren't happy. But let's give our 2 cents on this.
Okay.
Isaiah, you're a big meme guy.
I am a big meme
guy.
guy.
You love responding with the memes.
Yep.
You love sending them in text messages to your counterparts, your Kemosabe's up here.
Yes.
Whenever it comes to the pregame live group text, I want us to get through the memes, and we had to teach Nate what a meme was for this segment. But we're going to let you start it off. What meme reminds you of what the Dallas defense has been in 2025?
Well, my meme is the Arnold Schwarzenegger meme, and I don't know what is that.
That is from Kindergarten Cop. Great movie.
Yeah.
But it's you kids are soft. You lack discipline. Why did you choose this one?
You know, they've been soft. This defensive line has been soft. And what I need is some discipline. I need for you to stay in your gaps, hold your ground, and make a play.
There we go. I love it.
Be physical. Isaiah, what was yours?
Mine was one of the best comedians, if not the best comedian of all time, in Bernie Mac. And you see this look right here, just disgust. Just blatant disgust, because you know what they're capable of, but they're just not doing it. So all you can do is just
shake your head.
It's part of it. Barry, what about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of on par with Nate here. I'm going with the Kobe Bryant, the Black Melt, the Mamba went out there. When he shook his head and he was speaking to one of those other players, it's soft. It's just soft. It reminds me of what Nate was just talking about. You know, you got a guy, a former teammate of yours, Rico Dowdle, talking about, you know, what he's going to do to this defense, and they better buckle up. And then he goes out there and rushes for over 180 yards. You just can't follow that up. So to me, I'm sorry I had to do it, but you know what, Kobe Bryant, it was pure soft right there.
Hey, you guys are saying it with your chest. I appreciate that. Going into game time, you're making sure that there is a statement, and hopefully the Cowboys prove everybody wrong and play better on the defensive side of the ball this week. They'll have to do so without Trayvon Diggs in the fold, out with a concussion this week, and that's a huge loss just from a body standpoint from the Dallas Cowboys. It happened middle of the week. Brian Schottenheimer comes into his Friday press conference. He said one thing to note: Trayvon Diggs suffered an injury at his home, not even an on-the-field concussion. We still don't know the details or have any clarification on it, but the one clarification is he is not available for the Cowboys. But they did activate Kalen Carson off of the IR list. There are going to be some guys returning with injury or from injury, guys like CeeDee Lamb and Tyler Booker on the offensive side of the ball. So as you get these guys back, how much playing time do you expect them all to get this week? Of course, Booker on the offensive line, but more so with Turpin and Lamb and what they do at the wide receiver spot.
I imagine if these guys are healthy and they're good enough to play today, then you don't hold them back. You play them, you allow for those guys to go out there and get their feet back underneath them, and you expect them to contribute the way in which they would if it was week one. So I don't foresee them being tempered or held back in any capacity, but the distribution of the ball, that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, without a doubt. I'm with you on this, Isaiah. You got one of the best training staffs there is in the National Football League with the Dallas Cowboys. And if they're saying, CeeDee Lamb, Turpin, and those guys are ready to roll, then I expect no holdback. I expect those guys to go out there as if it was week one and go out there and dominate this game. Will we see, 14 to 15 targets from CeeDee Lamb? I'm not so sure about that, but we should see him go out there and at least open up this offense.
Unleash the collars, baby. Yep. It's time to let these boys run. It's time to let these dogs bark. This is a pivotal game. This is an NFC East game. This is a division game. These guys need to come out and make their mark. We need CeeDee. We need Turpin. We need Booker to come out and be ball dogs today.
Yeah, it's going to be a big emphasis on that. George Pickens has stepped up in the wide receiver room over the last few weeks. Now you get both of those guys back. But let's go back to the memes, gentlemen. Get a couple more memes out there. Since we were talking negatively, let's be positive on this set of memes. Describe the return of CeeDee Lamb, Barry, and use a meme to do it.
Well, I did the Batman and Robin meme when you talk about CeeDee Lamb's return, because you got a guy in George Pickens who, when CeeDee Lamb was out, he kind of took over that Batman role. But now that Batman is back, will we see George Pickens go into that Robin role? Or is it going to be like the Justice League where there's a Batman and a Superman out there? Right. I'm not so sure, but that's a good problem to have for the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow. What about you, Isaiah?
Myself, all I can think about is the fact that George Pickens is leading the NFL, tied in the NFL for touchdowns, 6 of them things. So now you bring back CeeDee Lamb, all you can do is
little smirking there.
All you do is smirk. That's all you can do. Just a little smile right there.
Can you do your best impression into the camera here?
Yes, that's it. You got Ferguson catching 122 balls, 5 yards and under. You got
Stop.
Pickens scoring
No,
6
you're going to
touchdowns.
stop that. You're going to stop that.
And now you got CD.
All right, Nate.
I went with John Morant, man. When CD comes back, man, all I can say, man, they cook. That's all I can tell you, man. Yeah, they cook, bro. This thing over with. And my boy Ferguson is averaging 7.5 yards.
No disrespect.
No,
I mean, that's 2 yards.
Let him know, Big Nate.
Yeah.
Let him know.
Yeah.
Who had the higher vertical, John Morant or Nate Newton back in his prime? Who had the best vertical?
I can go straight up with a dunk.
Okay.
Yeah, straight up, man.
You was dunking?
I should have been a first-round pick, but
Fisher Price.
Fisher Price. That ain't regulation.
okay. It's 10 feet, right? 10 feet, right?
It's regulation. All right, it has been all fun and games from us up here, having those guys back, CeeDee Lamb back in the fold. But you know, just as much as anybody, all three of you guys have been through injuries before. Yeah. It is a tough road back. Here's what he said to the media earlier in the week about the tough road back and how much he learned about himself now that he's back in the fold.
It's been tough mentally and physically, obviously, with my ankle and rehab and everything. And then mentally, obviously, because of the player I am and how anxious I am to get out there. But trusting in my process and trusting in my team, my rehab team, and the training staff here is just getting back right and making sure that it's right for me to go out there and be myself again. Why I'm hungry is me missing time. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing what I love and playing with the guys that I love and breaking the huddle and being able to just go out there and be me, myself, be an explosive player and making sure that I'm able to help contribute to wins and, you know, we keep this thing rolling.
All right, back here inside AT&T Stadium, Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, and Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans as we roll on into this Cowboys and Commanders preview. We talked about these guys coming back and how much it does help the Cowboys in terms of reinforcements. Kalen Carson on the defensive side, Booker, Turpin, Lamb on the offensive side of things. But, Nate, which one of those players is going to have the biggest impact for this Cowboys team going into the Week 7 match?
At first, I thought it would be Turpin because we needed that special teams effect that he brings to the game. But now that after last week's game, where our offensive line got him, Booker's going to be the biggest deal because we're going to have to stop the pass rush. The Commanders, whatever their name, authorities or whatever, they got 18 sacks. And so we have to make sure that we have our best offensive lineman up front. So Booker's for me.
Kind of along the same lines, Barry, which player outside of Dak is going to benefit more from having Lamb and Turpin back in the fold? Because, of course, it's going to help Dak.
Yeah, without
That's
a doubt.
more wide receivers to work with. But across the board, who's going to benefit most?
Well, at first I was kind of, thinking about this. Is it going to be Pickens? Will it be Ferguson? But for me, I settled on Javonte Williams in this situation. And we saw last week what Carolina was doing. They had that extra safety in the box. And that extra safety, that unblocked guy, was able to stifle this running attack. All right? So for when you get CeeDee Lamb back, if you decide to have that extra guy in the box, then you're leaving two dynamic receivers one-on-one on the outside, as well as Ferguson. But if you want to protect against CeeDee Lamb, you want to protect against Pickens on the other side, you got to leave that safety back there. And that should create a light box for Javonte Williams to get back to what he's been doing all season long, which is punishing defenses with the running attack.
And then Isaiah, with George Pickens, of course, he stepped up in a really big way throughout the last few weeks. Now that he has Batman and Robin back together again and they're able to put a couple more weapons out there, how does his workload and the target share change going into Week 7 now?
Yeah, I think that jury is out. And I think that we can obviously sit up here and guess all day long, but I think that whoever has a hot hand, whoever has the best matchup going into this thing, I think that we're going to see more of what we saw in those first couple of weeks when CeeDee and George were both out there. CeeDee received the bulk of the reps, but obviously George Pickens had an impact in terms of down the field pass interference calls and some late red zone threats. But I'm not sure how they're going to do it, but I'm hopeful that they do not rescind his workload too much.
Okay, well, a quick follow-up on that question. Yeah. Barry, as a defender,
yes,
when it's an equal target share between Lamb and Pickens, how much does that continuously put pressure on the secondary?
It makes it extremely hard when you have two guys on the outside that can basically destroy your defense because you can't lean towards one guy in man-to-man coverage. If it was just CeeDee Lamb on the outside, you got that deep middle field safety. I'm saying always lean to the hash towards CeeDee Lamb. So you can throw away all the stuff that you want to on his side, but I can get over to him quick. But when you have two guys on the outside that can go deep and burn your secondary like that, you got to play it true to the middle, and you got to really read the quarterback. And that's a step or two that the safety won't have to gain on the quarterback out there, and it becomes diabolical for a defense.
Now, BC, I know you like to be in the box, right? You know what I'm saying?
I like to do that.
If using a Dan Quinn system, you be that strong safety down there in the box. But for that single high safety where you're playing cover 3, you're playing man-to-man, right, in that Dan Quinn system, how important is Turpin with these two guys out there?
Oh man, it's going to be huge for Turpin because he can take the roof off the building. If your safety's too preoccupied with the two guys on the outside and he's not really paying any attention to Turpin out there, that's a guy that has that sneaky speed that can get up on you quick. You sit in your back pedal as long as you want to. If that guy's within 5 yards and you haven't opened up, it's curtains. You know what they say? Once the receiver's even,
leaving.
So that's the type of guy you got to keep your eyes on as well.
Yeah, and certainly George Pickens has really taken more and more of a role. And now that he's comfortable with Dak, CeeDee Lamb returns. Hopefully it's the final infinity stone for this offense. And you're able to piece it all together for Thanos, and they're able to go down the field and score at will. Here's what George Pickens said earlier this week about his comfort level now in this offense and really what has led to his success over these last few weeks.
Like I said, moving me around, especially when C was out. Which gave me a better understanding of like the full playbook now, you know what I mean, as well. So like when C comes back, Turk comes back, now they can move more of us all around, a little bit better than we did before.
How much more dangerous do you think you guys can be as a unit with that added element?
Super dangerous, especially plus Ferg too. You can't forget out Ferg, but super dangerous.
How much fun are you having out there playing football?
Super fun, especially like the guys like this in this locker room that want to make plays, especially on the offense. The guys that I see every day, receivers, Flo, PC, they kind of keep me super happy as well.
George Pickens, one of only one player with 5 receiving touchdowns, 500 receiving yards in the NFL this season, and he's only the 4th player to have 500 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns in the first 6 games with a brand new franchise over the last 30 seasons, joining Randy Moss, who did it twice, Terrell Owens, who did it once, and then Amari Cooper, who did it with the Dallas Cowboys back in 2018. George Pickens, the 4th name on that list. It's pretty good company across the board. Without George Pickens in this offense over the last month, what would they be, Isaiah?
They would not be where they are right now, and that's competitive. Obviously, they don't have the record that they want, but George Pickens made them competitive, still, and having the threat on the offensive side of the ball. CeeDee Lamb, when he falls off, you haven't had that guy that can step into that fold and be considered a number 1. You are always trying to do it by committee. That has not been the case since he's been gone. Now you're excited about the fact of those two being together. And remember, this is contract year, fellas. They better pay this man.
Oh, they're going to have to pay this man. But for me, when you look at George Pickens, without him, this offense would be stagnant. All right, I'm just complete stagnant right there because you don't have anybody else that can win the one-on-ones like George Pickens was able to do. With no CeeDee Lamb out there, you would have had to rely on Flanoy, who's played well, Turpin, Tolbert. Those guys can't consistently beat man-to-man coverage and give you that option like a George Pickens can be. He's been that guy on third down, the money down, to move the change, whether it's a deep ball, intermediate, short. He's had all the skill sets out there. So for me, this offense will be stagnant, but luckily they got George Pickens in the fold.
George Pickens is the man. I mean, he came in, he's doing everything right. He's a good teammate. He's running sharp, crisp routes. He's making big plays. Without him, while CD was gone, I'm agreeing with you guys 100%. This offense would have been stagnant.
But now that CD is back, how concerned are you guys with his potential of him kind of becoming disengaged and, you know what I'm saying, and disinterested if he's not getting the same workload?
I don't think that he'll be that guy. I think he's comfortable in who he is and this team. And I think the relationship that he has with Shotty, when Shotty is talking to him, said, hey, your day is coming. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to yourself. It's $28 million out there floating.
Come on, man. And I'm kind of opposite of Nate on this one. I'm kind of worried. If he's not going to get the football like that, I don't want him to start, pouting and saying, let me give up on this route. Let me go ahead and do it. Remember, this is a contract year. If the guy was already paid and had those ducats in his pockets, he'd be the ultimate team guy. He's looking to get paid as well. And if those targets start to diminish, who knows what the receiver will see.
And I asked that question because of that point, man. We've all been there before, right? It's contract year. You're trying to go out there and do what you can, not only to help your team win, but I got to take care of me.
Yeah.
Right. So all of a sudden, if I have 6 touchdowns through the first 6 games, and now CeeDee Lamb pops back up in the fold, and I get maybe 3, 3 attempts my way and no touchdowns, now I'm feeling some type of way.
Well, you've got to eat. And there's only so much food to go around.
Yeah.
There's only so many targets that you can have in a certain football game, because even with all that being said, Pickens, Lamb, Turpin, all these guys in there, Jake Ferguson, who's second in the NFL in receptions right now, all of that you do not want a 45 pass attempt game from Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
You want to control the clock. You want to have time of possession on your side. You don't do that by throwing it 45 times, but in a game like this where all these guys are back, somebody is going to be shorted in terms of targets. So at some point, it will play a factor. Now, we did see last week George Pickens did something really incredible. This hurdle was one of the nastiest hurdles we've ever seen. Look at the airborne over the top of a Panthers defender. Great photo from AP Images, just capturing that moment. What is what meme would you use to describe what you saw or what your reaction was when you saw George Pickens go airborne over to defender? We'll start with you, Nate.
Hey, bro, he a freak, man. I
wasn't familiar with your game.
Yeah, this is your Shaq meme.
The Shaq meme. Y'all know. No, I'm just telling you what I'm thinking. But that's what Shaq thinking. Okay, Shaq, that's what he's thinking. I don't know about the meme.
No, that's what the meme is, Nate. That's the meme you chose.
Okay, all right.
See, I told you we had to teach him what a meme was.
I'm sorry.
He's like, wow, Shaq really said that about George Pickens? That's crazy.
I'm sorry, man.
Shaq also stood us up for this show last year, so we're still mad at Shaq. But he was also on your meme here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shaq's response is the same response I had, because I was in the studio watching the game like most of y'all, getting ready for the post-game show, and I was eating. Woo! That was exactly my response. Woo! I can't believe he just did that. That was nasty.
All right, Barry.
Hey, it's kind of wild that we all went with Hall of Fame basketball players. I went with Michael Jordan on this one. I was with you in the studio. That's how we feel, Pickens.
Yeah.
This is what we doing.
So you went from Kobe to J.O., huh?
I mean, it's just,
you are something else.
Oh, man.
No, that was pretty amazing, though. When I saw it live, I was like, man, this is crazy.
Have you ever been hurdled like that?
Ooh. Never. There ain't nobody jumping over me. No.
Never.
The one guy that did try to do that was LeGarrette Blount. I don't know if y'all remember him. He did try to hurdle me over, flipped him on his head. He did do that again.
Eddie Murphy.
You said don't leave your feet.
Wow. Don't leave your feet.
Don't leave it. Not around Barry Church.
Leave your feet, he gonna eat.
Club 42 wouldn't have been with him.
Yeah, making it happen. Let's hear from Jerry Jones earlier in the week, because this defense still struggling to put up numbers and to slow down teams that have been putting up numbers. The Cowboys might be open for business.
If there is a trade that would help the defense, we're in position to make that trade. I want to remind everybody that I've said it earlier today. One of the great things about our trade that we had with Green Bay is that our tackle makes about $22 million a year, where he costs us $2 million. And so we're getting a $20-something million a year player for $2 million right now. And he's playing about as well as anybody on defense. Why do I bring that up? That alone has increased our flexibility of being able to look at potential trades right now, whereas you might have had hand cramps before. So we're in position to look at a trade. That doesn't mean we're going to make one, but we certainly had in mind when we started this season that we were going to have ammo to be more flexible in terms of what we do with the roster as we move along this year and, of course, as we get into the next couple of years.
So Jerry Jones, during that East-West Shrine Bowl event, an announcement at the Star at Frisco this week saying that they have the ammo, those first-round picks that were acquired via Micah Parsons earlier in the offseason or early in the preseason. They can use those if they want to upgrade the defensive side of the ball. Whether they should or not is an entirely different debate that we don't have time for in this pregame show. But let's say they are going to upgrade a position by using whatever trade capital they are willing to do. Where would you start? What position of need would you address first. Let's start with you, Isaiah.
I'm going defensive end, simply because of the fact that you understand that you gave up Micah, one of the most feared defensive ends in the league, and now you don't really have anybody that is currently playing at the level that demands the respect of the offense's playbook and their scheme. So I think that you need to go get a defensive end if you were to try to get a guy. But the only problem with that is most teams are unwilling to get rid of dominant defensive ends. So you either have to give up too much, or those are going to be divisional divisional opponents that are not going to give up the guys at all.
Yeah, and for me, I'm going linebacker. Now, I understand, there's a lot of youth in that linebacker room, like right now with Maris Leofound, Shamar James. But when you look at it, when you look at film, these guys, they just kind of look lost when you're looking at the run game and in coverage. They don't really seem to know what they're doing out there. And with Eberflus, his style of defense, what he loves to play out there is the guys that, to be the quarterback of that defense is that linebacker room. They're going to be like the erasers. If the defensive lineman hits the wrong hole, you got a linebacker there to make sure he erases that problem. We haven't seen that from the second level with these linebackers so far this season. So for me, my trade guy would have to be a guy on that linebacker court.
And in order for your linebackers to flourish, you're going to have a defensive lineman. I don't care if it's a 3 technique, a 1 technique, or a defensive end. You need somebody that's going to threaten the offense and make them change up what they're doing. And right now, we don't have that guy.
Yeah, don't have that guy, but we have another guy that's joining the show. Let's put him down here at the very back side of here. We've got a special guest walking on. We're going to put you over here down there at the end. This is Kyle Kirkwood from IndyCar, the driver of the number 27 Honda for Andretti Motorsport, joining us to promote the Arlington Grand Prix, which takes place in March of 2026. Kyle, welcome to the show.
Awesome.
I'm a huge racing fan.
Oh, are you?
So
Awesome.
This is a
Good
cool
stuff.
moment for me. What do you think about the atmosphere in Arlington in general now that you've gotten to the set?
It's great, right? I actually came here when the stadium was finished. I think I was 10 or 11 years old. And coming full circle, getting down here on the field, seeing the energy, seeing the fans, it's incredible. And we cannot wait to come back here in March and race around these two amazing facilities.
Now, I know, Isaiah, you keep up with all the technology. The thing about IndyCar that's the best, I say it's like racing a jet engine on the ground, like racing a fighter jet on the ground.
That's a good analogy, right? Because we have wings on the car, right? And we produce 8,000 pounds of downforce. So think about it. When we're doing about 80 miles an hour, maybe 100 miles an hour, the car can go upside down and just drive upside down with how much weight is from those wings. So in many ways, yes, we make 800 horsepower. The car weighs 1,800 pounds. We make 8,000 pounds of downforce. So it's an incredible piece of machinery there.
Do they build a seat special for you?
They do, yes. It's actually, imagine like sitting inside a beanbag and then you fill it with resin. Yeah, so it forms around you because we're pulling 4 or 5 Gs in a car at one given time for 300 laps, whatever it might be. So it can get very physical. A lot of people think of driving like, oh, you're just pushing pedals, turning wheels, but it's not necessarily just that.
How strong is your neck?
The neck that's a really good point. You look wild in the gym when you're training your neck and people just don't know what you're actually doing. Yeah. Like football players were doing it to mitigate concussions, right? But for us, it's because we just can't hold this helmet, this 5-8 pound helmet on our head with 4 or 5 Gs for 2 hours at a time.
Wow. Man, what are you most excited about in terms of racing here? Because I would imagine as a driver, you don't get a chance to take in as much of the scenery because you're so focused on what's ahead of you.
My favorite part is that it's a street race around 2 amazing facilities, right? Coming around here, coming around the Rangers, and also the parallel that we have between IndyCar and these 2 organizations is absolutely incredible. We've done, I'm a little bit biased, we've done really good on street courses. This will be a street course, so this will be one of the number 1 tracks that we're looking forward to for our team.
And the track is a phenomenal layout. You're saying, it's going around AT&T Stadium. It's going around Globe Life Field. It's back and forth all the way through. And how do you prepare for a street course that hasn't been built yet? It hasn't been created yet.
We do a lot of preparation. Even now, the teams will come out here, scan the surface of the track, the areas that they know will be the same. They know where the walls are going to be. They get all the dimensions, even the trees and stuff. They take all the visuals, and then we'll put it into a simulator, and I'll actually drive it in a simulator. I mean, it's probably a 40 by 40 foot room, and we have a simulator that goes up on an axis and spins around and has screens all around you. It's a cool piece of machinery, and we're able to run through all setup changes, whatever you want to do, right? Downforce levels, gearing, setup changes on the car, and then it'll reflect directly to what we're going to have on the track. So we'll be pretty much fully set up for this racetrack before we even show up to it.
And I've been to Barry's house. It looks just like that.
Do you have a simulator?
No.
One car simulator.
Yeah.
one more quick question. Who's the fattest racer? I want to know.
I'm not answering that. I'm not answering that. You guys are whoa.
IndyCar driver Kyle Kirkwood joining us. We're excited to have you for the Arlington Grand Prix. Get your tickets now, March of 2026. It is going to be a time. Kyle, thanks so much for taking
Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Kyle Kirkwood joining us here on Cowboys Pregame Live as we take a look at some of the inactives for the Dallas Cowboys in this Week 7 matchup against the Washington Commanders. As you see, Wanye Thomas, Trayvon Diggs. Wanye Thomas, a bit of a surprise. He popped up on the injury report midway through the week. He did not practice on Friday, and that was a huge loss for the Cowboys because they're already down Malik Hooker. You also have a couple guys at the bottom there, too, with Jay Toyia, Marshawn Nealon, who Toyia was not on the injury report. Marshawn Nealon was midway through the week. So we go from one of the fastest men in all of sports to one of the most important men in all of sports. We go to Stephen Jones joining us here on the sideline. You just got a chance to catch up with Kyle Kirkwood a bit there, too. That's pretty cool.
Well, he's obviously one of the best at what he does, and as you said, really fast. And, but, no, we're so looking forward to having those guys come in here, and they're going to be riding around this building right here. So it'll be fun and great for North Texas to get to see something like that. The Penske's are a first-class group, and think the world of them.
So I want to ask the first question. Will they build a car for you to get in there and test drive?
It's past my day. Those are for 21-year-olds. They're steady. I'm not near as steady as I used to be.
See, and Nate's trying to work his way into it.
Sir,
he's asking about building seats. He wanted to be the biggest man in the car. He wants to try and drive one. Do you think you can make it happen?
I need a 4-door sedan. I don't need
Man, Steve, I wanted to ask you, man. Obviously, you guys did a heck of a job of initiating that trade and getting George Pickens here. And now you guys have a quote-unquote problem on your hands. You have a receiver who's tied for the first in the league with touchdowns, but yet you have your big boy receiver in CeeDee Lamb that's coming back. Is this a great problem for you guys or what?
Absolutely. I mean, they both embrace each other. I will say when CeeDee got hurt, when he hurt his ankle, George kind of went in the tank that game. He just was, he didn't have his running man out there. And, of course, the other thing I'd say is CeeDee's been the first one to say it. There's no 2, there's no 1A, 1B. We're both ones. And he was very prophetic. I think we do have 2 ones, and I do know they have the ultimate respect for one another. And I know Dak's smiling ear to ear to boot. So hopefully they'll bring a lot to the table today, and we got a big challenge out here with Dan Quinn, who you know what we think of. Just think he hung the moon, and a special coach in this league. But we're ready to go to work. Now we're against each other.
There you go.
Seeing his success in year 1 as the head coach for the Commanders, does that add a little fuel to the fire? Like you said, you've always thought the world of him. You've always thought of him as an incredible coach, especially after what he did from 21 to 23. But now that he's had some success elsewhere, does that mean you've got to put it all out on the table for the Cowboys against the Commanders?
No question. He knows us. He knows this team. He's just a special guy when it comes to motivating his men. And but no, there's no love lost once that whistle blows. We're going after. He's going after us, and I know we're coming after him. And he and Coach Schottenheimer also have a very special relationship, and a lot of conversations about one another, their respect for each other, and them working together over the years. So look forward to today.
Well, you guys have the pulse of the locker room, and headed into this game, a big-time rivalry game with the Commanders. What are you guys feeling like with this locker room headed out to this game? Is the excitement level high? Are you guys ready to go out there and pretty much put your staple on this division?
Yeah, we feel really good about this football team. I know, certainly there's things that we've got to continue to improve upon. We're not at the level that we need to be, but I think we've made a lot of progress this week. We'll continue to make progress going forward, but we believe, anytime you dress up against an NFC East team like the Commanders, it's everything, and you got to win. To get to where we want to get, you got to win your division. To win your division, you got to beat the guys in your division. And these are some of the best in our division, and we got to go to work today.
You got Booker coming back today, and your running game was a little stagnant last week, man. Are y'all looking to pick that up and get back in on the groove?
Well, definitely. And Nate, Shotty is totally committed to running the football, and we stayed with it in spite of the fact that Carolina was doing a great job against it. But we also showed that if you put too much into stopping that running game, then we got some other things to go to if they stack it up that way. And certainly Dak, being the seasoned pro that he is, knows what plays to get us into when he goes to the line of scrimmage, sees what they're trying to do. And like I said, whether it's a Ferguson, whether it's that receiving core or Javonte, and then, of course, all led by Dak, I like our chances.
Now, final one before we let you go here, Stephen. You and Jerry earlier this week talked about how there are ways to improve this football team, and whether it's via trade or signing. How much are these next few games going to play a factor in what you do in terms of building this roster and making a move to try and fix certain spots?
Well, we're worried about each week, 1 week at a time. We were worried about the Commanders this week. We also always are looking for a way to make our team better. And if that presented itself last week, we would have done it. If it presents itself this week, we'll do it. And going forward, if it presents itself, we look forward to pulling the trigger.
Cowboys Chief Operating Officer Stephen Jones here on the sideline in front of the Cowboys and Commanders. Stephen, thanks so much. We'll talk to you again next week.
Great being on with this group.
Always.
Especially these distinguished alumni.
We're going to get you a jersey, too, right?
Exactly. I never wore a jersey. I got to stay in this sport coat.
Very good, very good. Stephen Jones, as always, here on Cowboys Pregame Live. Cowboys getting ready to take on the Washington Commanders. We've got quite the background story with a couple guys that aren't available this week, including one, Wanye Thomas. Here's our very own Nicole Hutchison with more.
And MBK, my brother's keeper. So we locked in for life.
They had like nothing by the way they tell it. They slept in cars, in motels. The family house was lost to a fire.
September 24th, 2004, where you've been very vocal and public about, that was probably one of the worst days of you and your family's life. When you think about that day, what does it represent for you?
That day, as a young kid, seeing that caused me to grow up early. It caused my siblings to grow up early, and just seeing the hurt and pain look on my mom's face, that was one of those days to where, it's time to step up. And I am actually glad that happened. I'm glad that day happened, because without that day happening, I do not think I would be where I'm at. I don't think my family would be where we're at now.
Take me back to that day. You were about 4 years old?
Yep.
I know you're young, but what do you remember most?
Honestly, I remember being in my older sister's room. She was tickling me on the bed. I'm sitting here laughing, and then the smoke detector that went off, and my mom came running in the room. She's like, "We have to get out." I really didn't know what was going on at the time of okay, a fire, but who set the fire, which I'm not gonna say his name, but and then we had to go to our neighbor's house, and then I'm sitting there looking out the window, looking at my home burned down to the ground, and that house is literally all we had.
The Red Cross, I know they gave you guys $250 voucher, 3 nights worth stay. You guys were in and out of cars. Just what was the most difficult part of those days?
Honestly, for me being a young kid, it was more so me not knowing what an actual home was. Being in the car, sitting at the rest area, we thought home was a car. You know what I'm saying? Was
there ever any disappointment or anger coming from your end at all?
Getting emotional now talking about it and stuff. So, but it's really angry. It's like anger on my part to where how a person can do something to the person that they say they love, So, and then obviously it being my father, and then just seeing the look on my mom's face, her being a single parent, that's hard, raising 5 children. You have to do this, that, that's tough. And now that I'm grown and I have a kid myself, I actually get it. And the thing is, my mom did what I'm doing now with 5 children. So just seeing her, man, I'm proud of my mom. She deserves everything.
At what moment did you decide that everything that you had been through, you wouldn't let kind of define you, but instead you wanted to fuel you?
I would say my 7th grade year, and middle school when I started to realize that football can take me far and I can take care of my family. Something just kicked into me to where like I have a chance and I have to go hard at everything. I go hard at everything, literally. And from then on there to now, like it's the same thing.
What's a story that illustrates what this opportunity and this means for your family now that you and your brother are now playing in the NFL?
Honestly, it is a dream come true. And I never take this day for granted.
What would Big Ye tell Lil Ye if he had the chance?
In that moment, as a kid, things are gonna be tough, and they're meant to be tough. But eventually, you're gonna make it to the top, and then you can laugh about those times.
Really cool stuff from Wanye Thomas and Nicole Hutchison here on Cowboys Pregame Live. And of course, the background story is there. He's unfortunately not available for the Cowboys today, made inactive late. He was on the injury report with an illness throughout the week and was out in the middle of pregame warmups, just not able to go, which when we're talking about the safety position, Barry, we've seen some communication lapses at times in that position group. And without him, without Malik Hooker, they're even thinner at that position than they entered the week, which means eye discipline, communication, all these things have to be at a high level, and we haven't necessarily seen that at times from this Cowboys defense.
Yeah, when you're having guys at the backup position in the game, communication is key. But not only communication, eye discipline as well, especially in the back half of the zone or back half of the defense. It's got to be on point. And I want to break down a couple examples of bad eye discipline and good eye discipline. First, unfortunately, we have a little bit of bad. We got to take our medicine first. And when I'm talking about this, I want you to look at Donovan Wilson right here. Now, he's responsible for the deep half of the football field, all right? He's your cover 2 safety. He's the last line of defense. No one needs to be deeper than him. To handle all those short intermediate routes, you have your underneath defenders. We have DeRon Bland. We have Maris Leopold. We have Kenneth Murray out there to handle all those short to intermediate routes. Donovan Wilson has got to stay back. As we take it to the next clip, you see his eyes are on the quarterback, which I do like that, but you got to continue to get depth, and you got to trust your underneath defenders to be able to handle those intermediate routes. Right here, we see Donovan Wilson does not trust those teammates. He uses his eyes, gets a little bit aggressive right here, and he bites down on that first move, which allows Tech McMillan to hit him with a double move and get behind him. As a safety in a deep cover of the zone, you should not let anybody behind you. You got to trust your discipline. You got to trust your teammates in front of you to handle their responsibility, and you got to have great eye discipline. Let's go to the next clip. Right now, we're looking at Shamar James, the young rookie linebacker at the second level right here. He has been playing outstanding for the Cowboys at that second level, but we have a little bit of eye discipline on this clip I'm going to show you here. I want you to keep your eyes on Shamar James as well as number 87 for the Carolina Panthers. Now, if Shamar James' eyes are in the right position, he's going to be able to follow number 87 straight to the football. He's going to take him right there. As we see right here, Shamar James' eye discipline's in the wrong spot. He's looking at all the eye candy back there. Bryce Young, Rico Dowdle. They're giving him all the misses and matches and where to look at, and he's just getting aggressive and seeing that open B gap in front of him. Now, he wants to get downhill, make a tackle for loss, make a big-time play, but you got to see everything. If he would have looked where his keys were with number 87, he would have shown him that he's following him to the football. He would have been able to wrap around and make the play on Rico Dowdle. Instead, he gets a little bit too aggressive, gets caught up in what we call the wash right there, and is not able to get over the top and make the play on Rico Dowdle. That's just another example of bad eyes. But we do, Kyle, have some good eye discipline here. And I want to point out Reedy Stewart right here at the nickel position. Right now, you see him at the edge of the line right there. He's following Hunter Renfrow back across the line. Hunter Renfrow disappears, all right? Now, his responsibility is that D gap or that outside contain. He's going to keep that outside arm free and make sure he turns everything back to the rest of his crew right there on the defensive line. But what he's also keying on here, just similar to like the last clip, is that tight end at the end of the line of scrimmage. We see number 84 right here at the end of the line of scrimmage. That is what Reedy Stewart is looking at. If he disappears and goes across the formation, he now understands that his outside D gap converts to the inside C gap, which is right on the inside of Donovan Ezra. His keys are in the right spot. He's looking at number 84, and at the snap of the football, when 84 goes back across the formation, he folds back inside, head and shoulder square, and makes a great play on the running back right there. Kyle, that's what we need to see more of from this defense. Great eye discipline and not looking around, trying to read everybody's keys. You got to trust your defense. You got to trust your teammates, and don't be over-aggressive. Read your keys to lead you directly to the football.
Barry, when you talk through all of that, it makes it seem so simple. It makes it seem so simple across the board. But as we can attest to, we now have a 3-time Super Bowl champion cornerback joining us on the set with Kevin. This is Kevin Smith, one of the Cowboys alumnus. Kevin, I need you to take me through what Barry just talked about. Is it as simple as he makes it look?
It's not that simple, but all 11 guys have to be on the same page. And I've watched, I'm Barry and Isaiah and Nate have seen way more film than I have. But you can tell that there's some gap responsibilities. When I played, we used to spill it outside all the time. Even as small as I was, Campo would want us to get up under a tackle. And I said, Campo, it's not like a razzball doing that. So let's get the safeties on the backside of these wing sets, and I'll go to the slot. But definitely, you got to stop the run. There's no way you can win a football game or even have a chance to win a football game when you're giving up those kind of yards, especially on first down. And that's those first down runs. You got to try to get teams second and long, and you can be aggressive defensively then. But right now, giving up. There's Dez.
Oh, look at Dez Bryant. What's up, Big Dez? You good?
Yeah.
Good to see you.
What up with it?
How about that? Yo, look.
What up, Dez?
Hey, Dez, as a wide receiver yourself, we're talking secondary right now. Talking secondary, having CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens back, how much is that going to be dangerous for this Cowboys team today?
Oh, man, that's dangerous, man. It makes Dak's job that much easier, man. I'm excited to see it.
No doubt.
Oh, yeah.
You got the 88 back on. How good does it feel to be back in the building with that on?
Oh, man, it feels good, man. Feel good to be back in the building. I already feel the energy. I'm just here. I'm excited. Good to see Barry. Good to see all you guys, man.
I got to get a prediction from you, fam.
Talk to me.
Both of those guys going to be on the field, 1A, 1B, whatever you want to call it. How many yards for each?
Right now, I got them both minimum 50 apiece.
Oh, okay.
50 apiece. 50 apiece.
Does that mean somebody else steps up big?
No, I'm just saying 50 apiece because obviously they can go over. But I'm just giving you the minimum.
At least. At least.
Yeah, because
those guys.
That's a dangerous, combination, right? I don't think Dak ever had anything like that in his career. I think having both of those guys do make up, for the missing pieces on the defense. So I'm excited to see what happened today.
What do they provide that's different from each other?
You talking about CeeDee and George?
Correct.
I mean, the way I always saw it, I think they're going to form something special. I think the more they be around each other, the way they continue to see each other perform, they're just going to pick up on the things, and they're just going to be a dominant force together. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, definitely so. And you've already said this is one of your favorite wide receiver
1,000%.
duos you've ever seen. You even tweeted it out earlier this week, or X'd it, I guess, posted it out there. Now, if you were ever to go up against Kevin Smith, both of you guys in your prime, Kevin, who's winning that battle one-on-one?
I don't know. The rules changed a little bit, man. They did.
Now, we still got physical with us, right, Barry?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Kevin. I got you over the top. I got you over the top.
You know what? You're right. We probably would have double danced by the play a little man underneath. But Dez, he was a force, man. And
no doubt.
And Pickens remind me kind of a lot of you, Dez.
Yes, sir.
And Lamb is not as. I don't think he's as physical as Pickens, but
he's smooth. He's a smooth criminal.
You put both of them together, and you got Dez Bryant and Michael Irvin.
Oh man, look, I think I appreciate that love.
Yeah, you guys are incredible. It's been so much fun catching up with you, Dez.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping by. Kevin Smith, three-time Super Bowl champion. Thanks for stopping by. You guys are having fun, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All
hey,
right.
Appreciate you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
I know I came in and interrupted some things, but
that's okay.
I appreciate you guys.
That's okay. Anytime. You are always welcome. Dez Bryant, Kevin Smith joining us here on Cowboys Pregame Live. We've got a Hall of Famer in the building here, too. We've got Cliff Harris joining us now. Cliff, how's it going? You doing all right?
It's unbelievable to have all these guys come back and have a chance that you hadn't seen in years and years and bring back old memories and feel the vibe. And this, goodness gracious, I hadn't felt this in a long time. The energy that's out here, and I like it.
Oh, absolutely. And I know you've had the Canton moment, you've had the Ring of Honor moment. What does it mean to have reunions like this and to show that camaraderie and that fraternity that it means to be a former Cowboys legend?
Well, I mean, it goes deeper than that, too, when you've got so many different levels of younger guys that have come back that are veterans that are retired, and to be able to see those guys and visit with them, and then see your old friends that come in from all over the United States, and it's just really a thrill to come back.
So you're blinging, baby. You're blinging.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Don't apologize for that.
Pro Football Hall of Fame ring on here. That is beautiful.
Well, I thought I'd wear that to show the.
You show it to the camera here, too.
You put that work in. Yeah, you put that work in.
Now, we've got 3 different generations of Cowboys players represented here. Of course, you're the early years. We've got Nate in the 90s. We've got Barry and Isaiah both in the 2000s. This team behind us is trying to make a name for themselves, just like you guys all did. How do they do that based off of what you've seen here in 2025?
Well, one of the things that I think that these guys need to embrace is passion, a love for the game, and to come out and really with a mindset that they're going to win and they're going to win. And I mean, we were such a coordinated group with the Landry set, and but this is what they need to get themselves together and support each other, and some of the leaders need to step up and get them to play better, and I think that the energy level, I don't know, today I feel it here, and I feel it here in the stadium, and I think we're going to have a big day today.
I hope so.
Without a doubt. I want the viewers to know, from a Hall of Fame safety, the guy that played it at the extremely high level, how much does communication have to deal with when you're talking about the secondary in the back end?
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, particularly, the Landry flex defense was a complex defense, but there's no question. And you see these guys sometimes questioning and wondering where they're going to line up, and I see it, I watch it on there, and there's some uncertainty. Hopefully that they're going to be able to tighten that up, and because it's just like a one unit. It's a defensive unit, and everybody has that place and part that have to play in it and understand how that support role goes for the different players. But it's going to be, but I think but the defensive side, it's built with emotion and passion and drive.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
And we're hoping to
you
see.
want to get after them.
Yes,
you do. Yes, you do. You guys got to get out of here. You've got the event. You've got the presentation coming up. Cliff Harris, Pro Football Hall of Famer, joining us here on Cowboys Pregame Live. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you, guys.
This was so much fun. We've got to say goodbye to Barry and Nate here, too. You guys got to get out of here. You got to get some love. Let's hear from the Cowboys earlier in the week. A little media mashup going into Cowboys Pregame Live in Week 7.
Today's trivia question is, what is Dak Prescott's career record versus Washington?
George has been able to bring you along with CeeDee Lamb, and I know he's a free agent. He said winning was the most important thing he wanted to do. When you go to Jerry and just have a private conversation, say, hey, man, you see what I can do with these guys. Figure out how to get him back.
Yeah, some sort, yeah. Hadn't happened yet, a little busy, but yeah, I will.
A little bit.
Yeah, playing, watching the Commanders. When I run into him in that time of privacy, I'll make sure. And I don't want to dial him up on his birthday and tell him that, so he can have it.
What'd you do for Shotty's birthday?
I don't even know if we sang him happy birthday. We played birthday music out there for him, though. It's your birthday. Yeah, I can't say that next part. Yeah, good vibes, though. It's a good vibes. Happy birthday, Shotty. It's a great day. Appreciate you guys.
You went down. You're one of the higher-rated run-blocking guards in the league. How much of an impact can you have on this run game coming back?
I believe I can have a great impact on this run game, but I don't want to say shortchange TJ in any means of the imagination. Like, I learned a lot from TJ. TJ helps me a lot, and I feel like I wouldn't be as good of a running blocker if it wasn't for him, just watching him, learning from him. So TJ's done a great job, and I'm very appreciative of him and everything he's taught me so far.
Cowboys working their way back on the field behind us. Dak Prescott and company getting ready for this Week 7 matchup in the NFC East between the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Commanders. Boy, was that fun, Isaiah, getting the opportunity to catch up with Des Bryant, Kevin Smith, Cliff Harris, and then, of course, Barry and Nate doing their job as well. We've got Nicole Hutchison joining us here on the set as well as we continue through up to kickoff between Cowboys and Commanders. Guys, it's not going to be easy for the Cowboys as the season goes on. As you take a look here, this is the NFL's toughest schedules according to their 2024 records and what they have left on the schedule. The good news is they're not alone in the NFC East. The Eagles, the Commanders, and the Giants all in the top 5 in terms of toughest schedules across the board. But, Nicole, since you're on the set for the first time, what are your thoughts for the Cowboys and how they can take advantage despite a tough schedule coming up?
Well, you got to win this game. I know we hate talking about must-win games, but in real life, I mean, this is
feels like it.
I mean, you talk about a Washington Commanders team that has opportunities that the Cowboys could exploit. That secondary for sure is you have CeeDee Lamb back, of course, George Pickens as well, and you're getting more confidence with what George Pickens can do on the field in terms of his production from anywhere on the field now. So this offense there's no doubt in my mind that this offense can help you get there. It's just this defense that needs some work for sure.
Now, Nicole and Isaiah, for that matter, there hasn't been a repeat champion in the NFC East since 2003, 2004. The Eagles lead the way currently, but we've seen the Commanders falter. We've seen the Eagles falter, and the Giants take a step forward as well. Do you feel like there's a chance that a new NFC East winner here in 2025?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the Dallas Cowboys are probably positioned to be the best applicant in that regard, simply because of the fact that you have a top 3 offense and you have a bottom 3 defense. If you even remotely get to the middle of the road with your defense and are able to maintain your offense productivity, then you're talking about a team that's going to be dominant. These guys are getting healthier. They're getting their guys back, and they're still figuring out what they're doing on both sides of the ball. Offense has obviously been doing well, but if you get the defense to come along and they can make up at least half of what they've been doing productivity-wise, I think that you have to worry about the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that simple. Figure out this defense. Try to see what works with your personnel. I mean, I know Matt Eberflus did talk about trying to incorporate some more man. We'll see if that works with this new personnel with Kalen Carson back healthy. You have, of course, on the other side, hopefully you get a little bit more from Kyer Elam. But, I mean, yeah, this defense has to take that step forward. And if not, then I don't know. It's going to be a long day.
And they're going to have to do it today against a quarterback that's been playing at a high level over the last few weeks. Jaden Daniels, former Heisman Trophy winner out of LSU, missed weeks 3 and 4, but since returning in weeks 5 and 6, they have taken a massive step forward in the right direction. He is one of the league leaders in passer rating over that time period. So as you look at his passer rating and the way that he compares to Dak Prescott, Isaiah, when you look at this Jaden Daniels sophomore season, how would you grade it so far?
I think that they're holding the ball a lot more than what they've done in years past. He's in that Cliff Kingsbury offense, which always provides multiple options on every single play, but he hasn't had his weapons. I don't care. You can look at the productivity of any quarterback in this league. If you lose your top 3 receivers, you're going to have a slump. You can call it sophomore slump. You can call it slump in general. The same thing is happening down there in Houston as of last year. He lost all of his weapons and his productivity went down. So he's going to go along with whatever weapons he has out there, and today is slim pickings for him.
Hey, everybody's dealing with the same stuff, so I mean, respectfully, I have no remorse for it. You got to figure out I'm sorry. You got to figure out the pieces that you have and make it work. And I mean, Jaden Daniels, like Isaiah that I mentioned, he's had to figure it out. But I mean, this offense, this run game from the Washington Commanders is certainly one of the top in the league. So he's certainly figured it out. Hopefully they don't figure it out today.
And as you can see here, the alumni presentation has begun here on the field at AT&T Stadium. We're going to take you through a little bit of this. Cowboys have over 30 former players in attendance here for this Cowboys and Commanders matchup. Of course, you got our guys down there. Look at 42 right there in the middle. Barry Jur standing next to Joe Looney to his right. There's all sorts of generations of Cowboys players that are being represented in this day, and it's all guys that played 6 years or more. So if you're asking why Isaiah Stanback doesn't have a jersey, he played 6 years in the league. He just bounced around a little bit.
Listen, I was not the impact player that those guys are. I am perfectly okay being right here.
Right there. Hey, and that's okay. Maybe we'll get it to service time. The amount of times you've been on the show, you've had 5 years on the show.
I rock the mic, okay? They rock the bed, I rock the mic.
True. That's true. That's true. But we'll continue on as we go. They're playing a video inside the stadium. And this is actually a really cool thing because they're going to have a special moment here momentarily that we'll cover whenever it pops up. Who are you most excited to see out of this group? That might be my answer. I think right there. Roger Staubach and Drew Pearson both being presented with a football from Jerry Jones on the left, Charlotte Jones on the right. That's pretty cool seeing the Hail Mary duo together, and not to mention it's the Hail Mary duo together 50 years after the Hail Mary was completed against the Minnesota Vikings in the playoffs. 50 years of an anniversary between those two. Isaiah, I know you didn't grow up as a fan of the Cowboys, but you knew what the Cowboys lore was.
Yeah.
And now that you've got a homecoming event like this, what's it like seeing a lot of these guys on the field?
It's awesome, man. You heard Barry and Nate talking about it earlier. The fact that you can get all these guys together on the same field together, you know, across generations, it's absolutely awesome that these guys can share these stories.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing is that the fact that you often don't get a lot of these guys in the same room often, but Shoddy has built a new culture here. You're starting to see a lot more guys come around, and yeah, I think it's pretty nice.
It has been really cool. All right, final thing before we get off the air. Isaiah, bold prediction. What's going to happen out there today?
I'm not sure it's a Super Bowl, but the Dallas Cowboys should win today's game. The Washington Commanders are slim on offense. Just expect them to run the ball. You can play downhill.
Cowboys win by 3. I'm sorry. You said Commanders, I got excited. Cowboys win by a field goal. There we go. That's my bold prediction.
There's the bold prediction. It's been a lot of fun. We've had a lot of chaos over the last 30 minutes or so, but we are ready for kickoff. 3:25 kickoff on Fox. It's America's Game of the Week. You've got Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady on the call for this one. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys getting ready for a Week 7 matchup with the Washington Commanders. Enjoy the game, everybody. We'll see you afterwards with the first word presented by Dr. Pepper.